guys, Christina here, and today I wanted to share some resources with you that I used to put together a unit on Canadian government for my children in grades 3, 6, and 7. I also had a 5-year-old tagging along and a 14-year-old sometimes popping in, but it was geared towards my children in grades 3, 6, and 7. If you missed last week's review, I'll link it up top. That's where I shared the civics and Canadian government course that my child in grade 9 did on his own. But this was for the other kids. So first I'm going to turn the camera around and give you a look at a couple of resources, and then I'll come back, share a little bit more about it, and a couple extra resources we used as well. So this is the main book that we used here. This is Who Runs This Country Anyway? A Guide to Canadian Government by Scholastic, Joanne Stanbridge. This is actually the second time we've used this book. The first time we went through government about 4 years ago, we used this book as well. It has the introduction, take me to your leader, why do we have a monarch, winners and losers, ballot time, on Parliament Hill, a new session of Parliament, a day in the House of Commons, it's the law, that's a wrap, index and credits. So I'll give you kind of a look. They have some pictures, some fun facts, some kind of unknown little factoids. They have a child named Nathan who essentially wants to run for Prime Minister, and they show how does that work, what does he need to do, and just a good overview. The first time and this time I went through this book, I learn things every time, so this is a good book. I highly recommend it. It's not too long, but it's interesting as well as got lots of facts in it. And then I use these sheets here. Now this usually comes bound in a book, but I've taken it apart to make it easier to photocopy. This is Canadian Government from Classroom Complete Press. It is recommended for grades 5 to 8, reading levels 3 to 4. If you hear noise, those are my kids playing outside. So this does say permission is granted to the individual teacher who purchases one copy of this book to reproduce the student activity material for use in his or her classroom only. Always appreciate when I can make copies of one thing for multiple children. So it's broken down this way. There's the teacher guide, which has the assessment rubric, how is our resource organized, Bloom's taxonomy, man, I'm having trouble saying that, for reading comprehension, vocabulary, and then there's the student handouts. So what is government, kinds of governments, the Canadian Constitution, 3 branches of the federal government, divisions of each branch of government, how a bill becomes a law, provincial and territorial governments, electing a government, then writing task, crossword, word search, comprehension quiz, the answer key, and mini posters. There is also extra sheets online through the publisher that you can go in and access. So here's a look at like the assessment rubric, the teacher guide. There's these little keys here. And then this is what the sheet looks like. And you'll see at the top here, like this one says before you read. And then this one says the reading passage, and then this is after you read. So it's set up in that manner for most of it, but I just like pick and chose because a lot of the information we needed was already in this book. We didn't necessarily need to read all of these. So I'll just give you a quick look what this looks like. So at the back here, there's some posters. There is the answer key. There's the comprehension quiz, word search, crossword, and this is what the pages look like. For me, visually, I like the way that this is laid out. It's very simple. They are worksheets, so you have to decide if that's going to work for your family or not. But like I said, I just picked and chose for each child. I think my child in grade 3 did, I want to say 4 pages out of here total. Like not very many, but this was a good resource for sure. And then the next main resource is Voices in Democracy, Action and Participation. This is a textbook. I believe that it's used in Alberta schools, or it was used. So it's definitely geared towards Alberta. There's 8 or 9 chapters that kind of goes through the different levels of government, as well as the history of what is democracy, what is government. And I I feel like even though it's geared towards people in Alberta and it has a lot of Alberta examples, it has definitely got a lot of just general Canadian information and history. And again, just kind of taking examples from different parts of history and putting them, making them make sense. So we just went through, I think 3 or 4 of these chapters, kind of looking at each level of government and the examples. And it has a lot of good questions. Kind of consider this, think about this, discuss this. So that's another resource that we used. And those are the 3 main ones that we used for this unit. We also used the series, The Charter for Children, which is the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And what the author has done is he's taken 14 of the main points, and there's a story that's funny and silly and kind of sarcastic a little bit, and there's one for each province and territory, or based in each province and territory, and one for the country. And so we use those. Now our family's also studying Canadian history this year, or we have been, so there's lots of government stuff in that too, right? But these are kind of the main resources that we use. These are ones that I would definitely recommend to other people to pick and choose what's going to work for you. But I do like that they're clear, they're concise, good examples. If you have any questions about these resources or anything else, just leave it in the comment section down below and I'm happy to answer it for you. But hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of resources you can use for that elementary, upper elementary, through to middle school years. I hope this finds you having a great day. Take care.